And welcome back now to our Kelly Files special, Defying the Sword. Tonight we are looking at the issue of radical Islam and how best to deal with it. In her new book, Heretic, Ayaan Hirsi Ali argues that Islam needs a reformation, even a so-called gut renovation. But not everyone agrees. Haroon Mogul is a senior correspondent for Religion Dispatches, a fellow at the Institute for Social Policy and Understanding. And also back with us now is Ayaan Hirsi Ali. Haroon, let me start with you. What is it that about Ayaan's call for a reformation with which you disagree?
Well, two things. The first is that she has no traction in the Muslim community. So if we're really interested in tackling radical Islam, and we should be, she doesn't have an audience. She doesn't have traction. So if you're talking about a reform that's trying to stop a real problem in the present day, then it should be a reform that people are willing to listen to. Secondly, and more seriously, her whole idea is backwards. She says Islam needs a reformation to stop extremism. But Islam already had a reformation, and it's the reason we have extremism. So her solution to the problem is actually the cause of the problem. So if we want to keep America safe and be safe for ourselves, we would do better to look elsewhere.
What is your solution to this problem?
Well, there's no single solution. These are different societies in different places. One of the solutions is to create democratic societies, to allow room for debate, to have a better foreign policy, to have a better conversation. One of the solutions is to work incrementally towards change and not expect things to flip overnight.
The problem is people like Ayaan have come out and spoken out about their experiences in the Islamic faith, and in particular the treatment of women. And then what we see is a backlash against them, calling them Islamophobic, and even death threats. I mean, it's sort of some groups within the Islamic faith prove her very point by threatening her life for speaking out about Islam.
Absolutely true, and it's unacceptable. Violence against anyone is unacceptable.
So how do we get past, I mean, is there anything we can be saying or even discussing here in the United States that can get us past that, or that can stop this problem, at least within our borders?
Well, there is no problem within our borders significantly.
There isn't?
Let's look at what happened in Dallas, Texas, for example, right? Two men who are already known to the FBI, who are already radicalized, attacked an event. No American Muslim organization issued any meaningful statement of protest against the event. These two men did not even bring up radical ideas in their mosque. Why? Because they knew the minute they would bring them up, they would be reported.
ISIS has a presence in all 50 states. We have a little bit of an issue.
With respect, the FBI also says the #1 terror threat in America is domestic right-wing groups. So if you're going to quote the FBI, then let's quote all of the FBI.
Okay, so no, but that's interesting. So in your view, the right-wing groups are more of a threat to America than radical Islam.
I'm saying what the FBI is saying. You quoted the FBI, so I'm just going with that.
Okay, so that's what you think we should focus on.
I think we should focus on both. But at the same time,
okay, so that's what I'm asking you. How here in the United States do we focus on the problem of radical Islam?
Well, part of the problem is we make these sweeping generalizations about Islam that make us less safe. Look, law enforcement has limited resources.
How do they make us less safe?
Because we can't. I'll finish the thought. We can't look at everyone. And if we have this idea that every single Muslim is suspect, that everyone is secretly an Islamist or a jihadist, then we are basically diluting our resources.
Who says that every Muslim is a suspect?
Ayaan Hirsi Ali does. She regularly conflates Muslims with extremists. She called for war on Islam. She called in a Reason magazine interview in 2007 for a war with Islam. She said there is no such thing as a moderate Muslim. She said that radicalism, she said it on this show just now, radicalism is embedded in Islam.
Let me let her respond. She's sitting right here. Go ahead, Ayaan.
Sure.
I don't. I have in my latest book, and I invite this gentleman to read it, I distinguish between three sets of Muslims. There are the Medina Muslims with a narrative. They are about jihad, about Sharia law. They invest in life after death instead of life before death. And they are targeting Muslim families, Muslim individuals, and Muslim communities here and elsewhere. I also say the vast majority of Muslims are peace-loving. I put them under the umbrella of Mecca Muslims, and their children, they are being targeted in many ways by these radicals. And then there is this group of reforming Muslims. You've just mentioned Zuhdi Jaza, Kanta Ahmed, and many more. I think what this gentleman is doing is he's obfuscating. He is trying to distract us from, and he himself may in fact be part of this Medina Muslim group, because there are different ways that the Medina Muslims try to silence this discussion on what is going on, the radical Islam, political Islam. If you want to distract attention from that, you focus on those people like me who were born within Islam who were saying, hey, look, there are people, individuals among us who are trying.
Right, and you attack the messenger.
And they attack the messenger.
We've seen that done repeatedly. Haroon,
is that doing exactly what?
She
I'll give you a chance to respond to the charge.
accused me of being a Medina Muslim. I mean, this is exactly what I'm saying. This is not a serious conversation. If we want to talk about facts, the overwhelming majority of American Muslims, including conservative American Muslims, are happily integrated. Yes, I said it at the beginning. There is a threat. There is a radical threat. I'm not denying it. And I think it would be extremely grossly irresponsible to deny it. I'm simply asking if it's as great a threat as we think it is.
What do you think is the solution to solving the problem of radical Islam within the United States, which now you've acknowledged?
There isn't a problem
you
with
just
radical
acknowledged
Islam
that there
in the United
was.
States.
You just acknowledged that there was. If we don't have a problem with radical Islam, why do we have ISIS in all 50 states?
I didn't finish what I said. First of all, we don't have ISIS in 50 states.
Well,
Secondly,
you said to the
group
FBI,
in Texas,
and the FBI says we do.
Okay. The group in Texas was not actually connected to ISIS. They were inspired by them.
You're the one who put all the credence in the FBI, and now I'm telling you the FBI says ISIS is in every state, and now you're telling me we can't listen to the FBI.
Sure. Thirdly, all I'm saying is that there is not ISIS in 50 states.
So now on this point you know better than the FBI, but when it's right-wing extremists, you don't.
He said right-wing extremism was more powerful than more threatening to us.
So here's the problem, Haroon. If you're acknowledging that radical Islam is a problem in the United States, which you did initially, and now you're saying it's not, when you say you don't acknowledge it, it diminishes your own credibility. It makes the audience think you're not the one who's serious. The point about peace-loving Muslims in America is well taken. I'm trying to get you to offer a useful solution on the non-peace-loving Muslims who are in the United States.
I'd be happy to elaborate on the kind of work we're doing. Every Muslim community I've ever worked with in the United States has talked about working with law enforcement and better ways to work with law enforcement. We're doing it right now. When I'm saying radical Islam is not the threat we're making it out to be, I'm not denying there's a threat. I'm denying the scale of the threat. And I'm also pointing the viewer's attention to the fact that we are working on this. We are American. Of course we're concerned about this. I deal on a regular basis with Muslim communities where we have parents who have to worry about every single thing a normal parent does and then have to wonder if their children are going to be lured into this kind of idiotic and evil ideology. It is a problem. My concern with Hayaan's book, and I've read the book, I've reviewed the book, is that it's not actually going to keep us safe because the solution she's proposing, it's not going to get any traction. It's not going to go anywhere.
I'll give you a quick response.
Not gaining traction. I get emails, I get text messages, I get acknowledgements from Muslims on Twitter. You know the most common line that they write? We thank you for being out there because I can't be out there. I can't be out there because I'll be disowned by my family or I'll be threatened. So people who support me and who think like me and who know that there is a problem within and want to solve it, you can't hear them and you can't see them because they are threatened. And this gentleman is not speaking for them or on behalf of them.
I thank both of you for being here. Hayaan, Haroon, you as well. Thank you. We appreciate it.